See it. Live it. TSN.
The way that Toronto's been getting rid of guys, you know, it doesn't look like they're going to have any chance of competing.
Well, if we went by David's comments, we probably would have traded him last spring.
They knew that I wanted to go there, so they said, you know what? You did that article, you made that story, whatever, we're going to stick it to you. But if you look at it in their point of view, I think they tried to, you know, stick it to me, and they got stuck.
Rogers, Blue Jays baseball on TSN. Tonight from Skydome, it's the Blue Jays and the Chicago White Sox. What a night to make my debut on Baseball Tonight. Hi, everyone. I'm Sunil Joshi, sitting in for Vic Rauter. It's not just a baseball game. It's Boomer against the world. Other games we'll be keeping a tabs on, of course, the Boston Red Sox and the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, and the Mets and the Montreal Expos at Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Well, more on tonight's game between the White Sox and the Jays. Let's go to Skydome and Dan Schulman and Pat Talbert. Gentlemen.
Well, it's a day that some Blue Jay fans have been waiting for ever since the wintertime. David Wells makes his return to Toronto, this time, of course, in a visiting uniform, after being traded from Toronto to Chicago in the offseason. One of the reasons that fans are waiting for Wells to come back, some of the things he said about them and this town on his way out of town in the winter, among other things. The fans stink. They're terrible. The team's in the hunt for the pennant. They only get 12,000 people. Of course, now he's playing in Chicago, where they draw worse than they do in Toronto, and now he's playing for a last-place team, whereas the Blue Jays feel they can still contend. But David Wells speaks first, retracts later. What have the last couple of days been like for him, and what's he in for here tonight?
Well, he was telling me earlier today that he was walking around Toronto on his off day, and people were yelling at him from out of cars, and across the street they're yelling at him, getting him fired up. I think that's only going to serve to make David Wells a stronger pitcher out there. He just locks in, he just gets into it in these controversial type of situations.
And he certainly has pitched in tougher environments than he's going to face here tonight as a visitor in a Yankee Stadium, as a Yankee in Cleveland in the playoffs. As you say, bring it on, says David Wells. The more the better when he's on the road. Now, Wells, as you'll recall, last year got off to a tremendous start as a Blue Jay and won 15 games by the All-Star break. As we compare Wells 2000 on this date to Wells today, things have changed a fair amount.
Well, the one-loss record, obviously, but if you delve into those numbers a little bit more, the ERAs are about the same. I think it's the run support. Last year, he's getting a little over 6. This year, he's telling me he's only getting 1 or 2, maybe 3 runs a game. That's awfully hard to win, no matter how well you do, if you don't get any runs.
And the White Sox, who look buried right now in the American League Central, well, they figure to trade David Wells to a contender, probably by the middle of the summer. David Wells is back at Skydome tonight as the White Sox play the second game of this 3-game series against the Blue Jays. On the mound for Toronto, right-hander Joey Hamilton.
Rogers Blue Jays baseball on TSN. Brought to you by Rogers AT&T Wireless. Imagine a better wireless world. And by Speedy Auto Service. At Speedy, you're a somebody.